Rigsby, who grew up around Fairbury Speedway in Illinois, finally had the chance to go to a big-time dirt late model race. His parents said to him, okay, we're going to take you on the road to a big show, and that show was none other than the Jackson 100 at Brownstown Speedway. You can imagine what an 8-year-old version of myself was like, scouring the Jackson County Fairgrounds, getting all sorts of pictures with drivers, getting them to sign autographs for me, and my eyes were just in wonder of what I was seeing. There was 102 late models on the grounds that day, and I say it all the time. Without that moment in 1990, that August day in the sweltering Indiana summer heat, I, nor DirtOnDirt.com, nor likely this show that's appearing on FloRacing would be here today. Having said all of that, welcome to night number 3 of Castrol's FloRacing Night in America. Is that special nostalgia comes home tonight for me, and we arrive at Brownstown Speedway. I am Michael Rigsby alongside my co-host Derek Kessinger. And Suave, I think I can say this, and I think I really mean it. I believe in my heart of hearts, and I think America does too, that Brownstown Speedway is one of the most famous dirt late model tracks in all of the United States, Derek.
Well, first and foremost, with the intro there, playing the NFL films, the schedule release tonight was perfect timing.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, so is it the house that Essex built? He dubs himself the house that Essex built for Brownstown. But, growing up, it's just one of those tracks that had that mystique. You had the Hoosier Dirt Classic, the Jackson 100, and then, towards my teenage years, the Indiana Icebreaker grew and
Kenny
grew.
Simpson Memorial back in the day.
You hear the old guys in the sport from Illinois like Bob Pierce and Kevin Weaver just rave about the place. You could race from top to bottom. It was just one of those tracks growing up that just had legendary status. Jim Curry, Don O'Neill, your boy John Gill. The Indiana Oval will always go down in late model lore. Should be a fun, fantastic night, Michael Rigsby.
Speaking of John Gill, Derek, just to drive home the nostalgia point I'm talking about, Kane, throw up these shots. And Kane Runyon, of course, producing from the studio tonight.
This is a stud muffin. I love it.
Throw up these shots here, okay? These are for me at that race in 1990. Derek, the shorts I'm wearing, the glasses, the starter hat. That's a picture of me with John Gill and Scott Bloomquist's car. By the way, both two of the best-looking dirt late model cars in the history of the
Michael
sport.
Rigsby. I love late model racing.
It sounded something like that, Derek. Isn't it amazing I have a beautiful wife now, Derek? Look at me in 1990.
Is that guy on the right Rick Eckert? Kind of looks like
I always want to know, if anybody knows who that person on the right is, let us know.
Tweet us.
Because I'd actually be pretty curious to know.
That 75 John Gill with the green trim is just phenomenal. He won the Prairie Dirt Classic. He's won plenty of races at Brownstown, and then you next to Bloomquist. I mean, look at me. Hey, Dad, it's Bloomer.
I'm wearing a John Gill shirt. The shorts, I don't know if those aren't denim. They're some sort of
I think they're back in now.
Yeah, exactly. I should have kept those, and I could wear those.
Love
now.
the shoes. That's a classic look too, with the black shoes and the white socks.
Those are pumps, by the way.
Yeah, everybody had those in the 90s. You look great.
Okay, Kane, enough of that. And now there's more horrible pictures of me to come. I share some of that stuff because I wanted you guys to really get a sense in your heart of how special of a place Brownstown is to me specifically. And like Derek said, always has been to the Illinois crowd, but really to the entire dirt late model world. And tonight, Castrol FloRacing Night in America turns its attention to the quarter mile. It's $10,000 to win tonight on night 3 for us in our mini-series. Our pre-race show, it is just chocked full yet again as we roll right up at the hot laps a little bit later tonight. It's 7 o'clock Eastern time, 6 Central, here in our Illinois studios. Ben Shelton and Dustin Jarrett will join us shortly to preview tonight's event from the tower there at Brownstown, and a whole lot more coming up next in the next 30 minutes. Take a look at the order of events tonight. Only 2 classes on the docket yet again. Super late models, of course, and UMP modifieds. I think it's right at 30 cars, 32 actually tonight.
4 heats.
So we'll get to that 4 heat mark. Our pre-race show, hot laps, and then hot laps and qualifying for mods. Super late model qualifying, our opening ceremonies. Heats for the late models. As Derek said, we have 32 cars, so that means 4 heats tonight. First time we've had that on tour. Modified heat races and super late model B mains. There is 2 pages here. We're not sure if we have a mod B yet or not, so that's sort of tentative. If we do, it'll be before the super late model feature, then the mod feature, and of course the pre-race show. Once again, Derek, no 32 cars. As we roll over some of the notable entries, it is a stacked and packed 32 cars. Larson, JD, Turbo, Sheppy in the family
B5.
car, making his debut on the series. Devin Moran, Ryan King, Mike Marlar, Billy Moyer Jr., first race back, Derek, since the injury situation. Hudson O'Neill, Bobby Pierce, and more on page 2 here, actually. We've got, Kane, flip that over. Josh Rice, recently a Lucas winner at Florence. Tanner English, Boom Briggs, Daryl Lanigan, Devin Gilpin, RTJ, Larry Greer, Anthony Kincaid, and many more. Derek, you take a look at those first 2 pages. Kane, maybe flip back to that first one for me. What do you see?
I mean, Billy Moyer Jr. making his return. I remember my first ever Summer Nationals race that I covered for Dirt on Dirt in 2012. Billy Moyer won at Brownstown, and then he ended up winning Cedar Lake. So he started off that tour with 3 straight wins. Right now, though, JD's on a heater, so it'll be interesting to see how good he does there tonight. But, yeah, just another stat group. Brandon Shepard debuting in the family B5 car, so just a hodgepodge, and you have those local guys like Scott James and all the rest of them.
I agree, and I like that Brownstown, always one of those places that you can just bank on having the best Indiana, Northern Kentucky, Western Ohio, Eastern Illinois group in there. And I'm interested to see how Josh Rice does tonight. You know, his best runs have come at places, Derek, where he can bang the wall down. There is no wall at Brownstown. He cannot bang it down. How do you feel about him at the quarter mile
last
tonight?
year in that August race during the USA Nationals, they had that, I think it was an Ironman race, if I had to guess. We had it live. Him and Tanner English and K-Rob were battling out 3 wide for pretty much the majority of the final 20 laps. He ended up getting second, losing to the line to Tanner English. So he has some good runs here at Brownstown that you might not expect because there's no wall, which few tracks have no walls. This one has no walls completely around it.
And our segments once again tonight, so those of you might be watching for the first time, what can I expect to see tonight? You've got our pre-race show. Derek and I will talk about gambling during that pre-race show. Tonight's the night, Suave. Tonight's the night I go on the heater.
Yeah, I've seen your picks.
Inside the Hauler segment with Boom Briggs this week. We'll have a driver interview. I believe it's not necessarily a driver interview this week, Derek. I believe we'll have Steve Francis, Lucas Oil Late Model Series Director, Tech Man, Tech Head, and former driver, Dirt Late Model Hall of Famer. Brownstown Dirt Late Model Trivia. And Derek, see all those, I don't know how many red question marks there are there. There's like 10.
Are we having
12.
Breaking news tonight?
We have a big announcement regarding the Dream at Eldora. I don't want to oversell people, right? It's a sizable announcement. We're not announcing it's like $1 million to win or something. I want to pump the brakes. But it is a very cool promo that we are running for the Dirt Late Model Dream to try to get more drivers to commit in Eldora. And I also saw today, Derek, they're opening up some restrictions in Ohio, so we may have a madhouse in
Could
Eldora.
this be one of the biggest crowds?
It's going to be gnarly.
I mean, it's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be fun.
And then the post-race studio recap when the night is over as Kevin Kovac joins us for that later. Suave and I will be in the studio all night long. You'll find us in our respected spots. Derek over there, about 10 to 12 feet from me, myself over here. But one of the best vantage points in racing, trust me, and I've been to all of them, is that Brownstown Media Tower. There's no catch fence between you and the racetrack, which is where you will find Ben. It is a media tower. I'm calling it a media tower. That's where you'll find Ben Shelton and Dustin Jarrett for about the next 3 hours. They join us now from Todd Turner's favorite no-walled quarter mile in Indiana. Ben and DJ, take it away.
Thank you very much, Michael and Derek. Not Dustin back in the studios. I've got Dustin Jarrett here with me, Ben Shelton, and we're here at Brownstown Speedway, round 3 of the inaugural season for Castrol FloRacing Night in America. 32 super late models in the pit area, Dustin. We've got finally no snow. The last time we raced, it snowed 8 times that day. No snow, a little bit windy, about 63 degrees. And we're here at Brownstown Speedway, and man, when you pull into this place, you just feel the history.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I've said this everywhere we've been, but another one of my favorite racetracks. This is a place where, and these fans that are around us know this, man, this place cleans off. This can be one of the raciest tracks in the entire country. We've got 32 late models, as you mentioned in the pits, Ben. I think about 30 of them have a legitimate chance to win tonight. This is arguably the best field for Castrol FloRacing Night in America that we've had so far this year.
Yeah, we got 23 mods. They're going to be in action tonight as well. 3 heat races and a B main for those guys. And as we said, for the Castrol FloRacing Night in America, super late models, 32 cars. Qualifying will set 4 heat race lineups. We'll take the top 4 out of those heats. 2 B mains taking the top 3 in a 40-lap feature. And man, when you, like you said, when you get through the pit area, you got your points leader, Jonathan Davenport. He's been red hot. How about Devin Moran and the streak he's been on? And oh yeah, a guy named Kyle Larson who's going to make his debut here tonight at Brownstown Speedway.
Who? Is he good? Kyle Larson? Oh, yeah, he is in the Kevin and Leroy Rumley number 6 car. Let's not forget, Brandon Shepard is in the pit area as well. For the first time this year, he's in the family-owned B5. I looked at the car and I said, have you raced this car yet this year? He said, No, that's the same body as last year. He's in the pits. Daryl Lanigan is in the pits. Tyler Erb is in the pit area, and about 25 other guys as well. And one other thing, you mentioned 23 modifieds. Don't sleep on the mods. I tell you what, there's a really, really good field of modifieds here. If you were thinking about leaving the track tonight or maybe turning your TV off after the late model feature, I'd encourage you to stick around and watch the mods. It's going to be a great show.
Yeah, don't do it. You got guys in the house like Nick Hoffman. We're going to rotate around. Nick Hoffman, Tyler Nicely in the house.
I'm already shorter.
Kyle Hammer, and a lot, very good talented field of mods. The fans are coming in here today at Brownstown. Again, a beautiful Wednesday, round 3, and this kicks off 4 straight weeks of action for the Castrol FloRacing Night in America. We're here tonight. Next Wednesday night, we go to Marshalltown Speedway. We're fired up about that one. Then the next Tuesday, we're going to go see Kevin and Tammy Gundaker at Tri-City Speedway. And then the next week, we're going to go see Josh King and his family as we head over to Florence Speedway. A lot of action coming up. It's all on FloRacing. Dustin, as we get set to head up top, I think not only are they going to have some surprises from the studios, we're going to have some surprises here tonight as well. There might even be, I don't know, a Hall of Famer joining you on the mic at some point throughout the night when I head to the infield. A lot to happen here tonight at Brownstown. Give me one final thought for everybody watching at home on what they need to keep an eye on here tonight.
I think the biggest thing to keep an eye on is, can anybody dethrone Jonathan Davenport so far this year? I mean, the driver of the 49 has won nearly $200,000 just in first place earnings so far in 2021. There's a lot of good guys back in the pits. We talked about the great streak Devin Moran has been on. Kyle Larson, Brandon Shepard, and others are back there. But I still think that 49 car is the guy to beat.
Well, guys, we're going to head up top. We're holding up traffic here on the main stairwell. We're going to get ready for action. Time right now is about 6:40 Eastern time. At 7 o'clock, hot laps are going to get underway. It's going to be a barn burner here tonight at Brownstown.
Derek, they threw me for a loop there. They told me they were going to be on the tower. I did not expect them to be amongst the people.
They were with the group. Maybe they were hanging out with James, and he was the one shooting the camera. Maybe he was camera guy this weekend.
So your theory is that James Essex was holding
Well, I mean, they
the camera
switched
there.
spots, so James is a little creative more than some people, so I could definitely see that.
I know. Did you see the lady there at the end? She's like, listen, I don't give a hell shit if you're Ben Shelton and Dustin. I'm trying to get through here to get to the concession
She probably doesn't know which
stand.
one's which.
So, yeah, that's true. Everybody else confuses them. Derek, the racetrack looked pretty good to me. I think Jim Price and his group looked like they got the right amount of water on it.
That's
I noticed
something we'll have to keep an eye on since when Lucas was there a few weeks ago with all the flips and stuff.
Yeah, and I think, that Lucas race, and we'll talk about the Lucas Oil fuel cancellation for this weekend, too, with the fuel shortage going on in the South. We'll discuss that later in the show a little bit. But I think they noticed they had those infield tires from the drone shot pushed out there a little bit. I haven't seen that in Brownstown in a while. So who knows? Maybe they know something we don't, Derek.
He'll have to wait and see. Jim Price and the gang's ready to go, and hopefully we'll see some phenomenal racing. The Summer Nationals race was good there last year. We had that great finish with Josh Rice and them, honorable mention. Tanner English won that, so I'm ready to go. I'm geared up, Michael. Geared up.
I like just the way that place looks before we hit our first set of commercial breaks. Just the way.
Where would you sit when you go?
I would always sit all the way to the right in the covered grandstand part. So kind of when you park and you walk up there, when you park out by the old horse barn, we'd be all the way to the right in the covered grandstand, the first seats in. And, oh, my God, Jeff Purvis used to come out all the way off the racetrack, jump
Did you
back
high-five him?
It felt like you could high-five him, that he was – I think you've heard me say that before. It's just – it's a place that will forever, no matter what you think about the current racing at Brownstown, it will forever just live on. At one point, there was a USA Today survey. It was the second most popular dirt track in the late 80s in the United States behind Eldora. That ought to tell you how popular Brownstown was. Like I said, first set of commercial breaks are on tap. After that, we're going to recap Derek and I's current gambling situation, of which I do predict a commanding lead tonight. I am a bit of a Brownstown expert, so I don't doubt tonight is where I take a big step forward on Suave. Todd Turner, who loves Brownstown more than anybody on the planet, not named James Essex, he'll join us for his nightly dose of expertise. And we have a big Eldora announcement right before the feature later in the show as well. I am very excited about that. That all coming up. You're watching Castrol's FloRacing Night in America, live from Brownstown Speedway. We'll be back after this.
Strength, power, muscle. The car's not bad either. With Castrol Edge, you've got the strength to unlock maximum performance. The muscle car meet, you'll crush it. Castrol Edge in, garage swagger on.
Gear up to win with Buzzy Racing. With over 40 years of experience in motorsports and countless victories, Buzzy Racing provides teams with superior drivetrain sales and service. Whether you need assistance with transmissions, gears, axles, brakes, steering, drive shafts, or differentials, we have you covered. Family owned and operated, Buzzy Racing is dedicated to our customers on track success. What are you waiting for? Visit us at buzzyracing.com to learn more.
They say that a tie is like kissing your sister, and that's terrible. But actually, kissing D-Suave actually might be worse.
That is actually very seductive.
I mean, I don't want to do either. But the idea of Derek and I kissing is not at all where I want to be. But that's where we are metaphorically. We are metaphorically kissing each other. We are tied after 2 weeks of gambling. I went 3-2 against Derek the first week. He went 3-2 against me
with the
last
yellows.
week. Yeah, with the yellows. God, barely. So we're even up. We're even. Nobody owes anybody any money. There it is. Got that photo of me. Can we please do something about this photo of me? It is just horrendous.
What? I mean,
yeah, not
your best day. But you're like fine wine now.
Every night when we do our gambling segment, it is brought to you by Dirt Draft, the official fantasy dirt track racing provider of Castrol FloRacing Night in America. Get to Dirt Draft right now. Can't throw that full screen up there. Notice DJ, by the way, 158th on here. Set your lineups right now on Dirt Draft, and remember to not only does the actual champion of our mini-series get $20,000, the driver, but the champion of the Dirt Draft series gets a badass trophy as well. So get to Dirt Draft right now and set your lineups for tonight.
Go
and
Pumpkin.
It won't be that hard to beat Dustin Jarrett, it looks
Pumpkin
like.
4-5-4 with a commanding 10-point lead.
You guys know the drill by now. 5 bets between Derek and I each night. Fast qualifier superstar, non-superstar winner, and the vaunted caution flag bet, which has been remarkably close every week. Let's dive in tonight. First up, the qualifying bet. Who of these drivers will be the fast qualifier? I say Kyle Larson. You say Devin Moran.
Devin Moran was one of the quickest there back at the Lucas Oil races. Kyle Larson has never raced a late model at Brownstown, so I'm going to go Devin Moraine. He's been fast all year long, qualifying well.
Not scared. Superstar bet, the next one. Which of these two superstars finishes higher? Hudson O'Neal at his home track. Sheppy in the family car for the first time. Is this going to be close?
B5, Rocket 1, don't matter. Sheppy putting on a show tonight. Good thing he got a win, though, last week in the Rocket 1. He can't be winning the B5.
Heat on Mark had he not. The non-superstar bet, arguably my favorite one, Devin Gilpin, another home track guy. I've got beating out Tanner English, Derek, whose father, Terry, was pretty good at Brownstown.
Yeah, Tanner English got that big win over Josh Rice last August. Tanner English running UMP, a lot of UMP stuff this summer. Let's see if he can get a good finish here.
Here it comes, the yellow flag bet. Because Brownstown's known for not having a lot of yellows, we bump it down one. I have the under 7.5. Derek, you're over.
Life's too short.
I feel like this one's going to be close again this week, under or over 7.5.
I'm okay losing this one every week as long as the race is good.
We've gone both ways so far. And the winner tonight, who will win this race, a redo, Derek, of that famous
2018
Sunday afternoon Jackson 100. I've got Bobby Pierce. You've got the hottest driver in America, Jonathan Davenport.
7 wins and 10 starts, going for 8 of 11. He's hot as a pistol.
When I really look at this, I'm feeling a 5-0 night. I'm looking.
What have you been smoking?
I'm feeling 5-0. I'm not really that worried. You're going to owe me $250 at the end of the night.
I'll have what you're having tonight.
Well, again, I'm a little bit of a Brownstown expert. I just have been going there so long.
All right, we'll see.
All right, we will see. I want to give our friends at Castrol a little more love before we bring in Todd Turner, who's chomping at the bit to talk Brownstown. Quick commercial break, and back after this note from Castrol.
Strength, power, muscle. The car's not bad either. With Castrol Edge, you've got the strength to unlock maximum performance. The muscle car meet, you'll crush it. Castrol Edge in, Garage Swagger on.
Not only do I know that Todd Turner loves Brownstown, but a little-known fact, the final decision to do this entire dirt-on-dirt thing, what has now become FloRacing, was hatched out the 2007 Indiana Icebreaker, as I took Todd to a Steak and Shake in Seymour, Indiana, and just bludgeoned him to death until he said yes. That is one of the many special things about this racetrack for Todd and I. Todd, you know the drill. First question is the same every week. I walk up to you and say, Brownstown Speedway, and I know this one's loaded. What does Todd Turner say?
Let me make sure Julie's not watching or listening, but it's my first love.
Oh, my.
It's, I guess we all have that. The racetrack that you go to and first really love racing. Brownstown is all that and more to me. It just from the very beginning. I mean, I remember literally going there and sitting down, and this is a regular Saturday night, maybe I don't know, in 1986 or something, and just the guys that are pulling out, and everybody's there. Pierce is there, Clay Coleman, McCammon, and Jewell, and Barnett. I mean, I'm just like, this is a regular night. And Essex, of course, is on the mic touting the Jackson 100 coming up in August. And I'm like, we've got to be there. So, it's just, and like when you all were opening there and showing that drone shot of Brownstown, it's just like, it looks so good. And as you mentioned before, the racing over every year and all the time isn't always the greatest. but the place will always be special to me.
You kind of hit on something I wanted to talk about. No matter what happens at Brownstown, I just always feel like the place where something special could happen. Can you not only agree with me on that, and I think you will, but try to put that into better words than I am, Todd? They could go 2 years without having a good race, but every time I walk into the gate, I'm like, this could be a night. It just has that magic to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, once you've seen the magic, you know it can be there. So you're always hopeful, and I'm the same way. I mean, whenever I go back there, no matter what I hear, I remember, I don't know, this is probably 15 years ago now, but I remember John Gill poor mouthing it, oh, it's not what it used to be, and whatever, and it kind of crushed me a little bit to hear him say that. And I get what he's saying in some ways, but still, there's that hope that, you can go back and have that race where it's, decided at the last lap or some, the big moments I remember there, the Hoosier Dirt Classic, Gill won in 92 with like a 3-wide pass on the back going between Pierce and Moyer coming out of turn 2. I mean, it's just like frozen in my mind what a great race that was. And of course, the guys you mentioned, going kind of jumping back onto the front stretch. Especially, I remember Auckland doing that in the 90s. They'd slide onto the half mile and then go back up and kind of ramp back onto the track. Guys spinning out there on the front stretch and splashing mud up onto the people in the first rows of those little box seats. Just lots of fun memories there.
All right, Todd, just a quick question before I get to my real question. Do you remember a young, annoying Michael Rigsby at Brownstown at any point? I could just see him going up to you, be like, there's Todd Turner. He's a legend.
I'm just glad I wasn't in the background of any of those pictures. So I might be complicit,
But the real question is, do you remember the 1997 Hoosier Dirt Classic with Gary DeWitt Jr. racing?
I do, and I seriously was hunting down Gary DeWitt Jr. Throughout the night, trying to get, because everybody's making a big deal saying that if they found out it was Gil, that he would be in trouble with the insurance or something. So, but I kind of reported it in like so many words, but it was funny when they kept calling Gary DeWitt Jr. and you knew it was John Gill, but that was a classic night.
Todd, about 60 seconds here. I want them, and I get them from you every week. Give me a few of those keen Todd Turner observations as we head into tonight, Castrol race at Brownstown.
I mean, I think y'all have gone 25 minutes here without mentioning Hudson O'Neal. I mean, this is his track, right? I'd say
I
keep an
picked
eye on
him. I picked him as one of my guys tonight, so I'm
okay.
with you.
You got that. Davenport and Larson, I like to see the guy who used to be in the 6 car and the guy in the 6 car. I'd love to see a showdown there. Tanner English, I know he was one of, I guess, Derek's picks there. He won a $10,000 race there last year. He's pretty solid there. And then I'm keeping an eye on how Shepard does in the B5. He won a heat race in the Rocket House car there at that Lucas Oil race that didn't get finished. So we'll see what the B5 is. They said it had the same body on it. Hopefully they've done a little something under the hood there.
Todd, I appreciate that. Andy's back on trivia duty tonight, so enjoy the rest of the show, okay?
Okay, have a good one.
Thanks. Derek, I think cars are rolling on the track. A few quick final thoughts I've got. Ben mentioned it. First race we've had with no snow. It will be exciting to have a nice springtime race where we can just sit back and enjoy the weather. And by the way, I thought we were going to be in the 20s. We're in the low 30s on cars. I think the era of people caring about car counts are really kind of or almost over. Am I right about that as these cars at the racetrack?
You're right about that. As long as you have 20 solid, great, phenomenal racers, no one cares. You're going to get a great show regardless.
We see Kyle Larson getting ready to hot lap at his first Brownstown appearance ever. That will do it for our pre-race show from the studios here in Bloomington. Thanks to Castrol and Dirt Draft for helping make the pre-race show possible. Derek and I will be back all night long, but for now, night 3 of Castrol's FloRacing Night in America from Brownstown Speedway. Ben and DJ, the dance floor is yours. The 2021 campaign for Castrol FloRacing Night in America is the first wave of super late models making their way to the Speedway. 32 in attendance here tonight.
Rolling off into turn number 1, it's Kent Robinson out of Bloomington, Indiana. The JB Salvage, JB's Disposal, J. Dickens powered MB Customs number 7R. The number 49 for our current points leader and 12-time winner here in 2021. It's Superman Jonathan Davenport. Jonathan Davenport in car number 49. The Nutrient Ag Solutions, Spartan Mowers, ASC Warranty, Clements powered Longhorn. Behind him in car number 6, also a Longhorn. Out of Elk Grove, California, it's Kyle Larson in car number 6. It's a Rumley engine, refreshed by Jack Cornett, the Longhorn chassis, sponsored by Hot Rod Septic and Rumley Motorsports. Behind him in car number 14 are a former Jeff Roth car. That's Mark Robbins out of Shoals, Indiana. The home's by Roth, Clements powered Bloomquist race car number 14. Also on the speedway in this set, in car number 83, it's the Silver Shark, Scott James, out of Bright, Indiana. The Rocket XR1, Dargy powered, landing and construction entries. We get this racetrack sealed in here this evening. Behind him in car 144, that's going to be Anthony Kincaid out of Zanesville, Ohio. The Titanic Racing Pro Power Racing Engine Longhorn chassis 144. The 32 making his way out, Bobby Pierce out of Oakwood, Illinois, the smooth operator. 3 wins on the year for that driver. The Hoker Trucking, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Premier Waste Services, Allgaier Incorporated, car 32. In car number 43, the 2020 Brownstown Speedway Super Late Model Rookie of the Year. That's Cody Marcy out of Spiceland, Indiana. The Big Daddy Racing Engine Rayburn chassis, sponsored by IndianaCashForCars.com. As we're getting most of the field out there to get this racetrack sealed in, it has been a windy day here in Brownstown, Indiana. They put a little bit of water down here at the last moment to get it sealed in, so we're bringing some cars out to get it sealed up. These super late model drivers will be broke into hot lap groups, and then they'll head back to the pit area as the mods come out for their hot lap qualifying. And behind them, we'll go with Renegade Race Fuels qualifying here tonight for the super late model division. That will set the grid for 4 heat races. 4 heat races, 8 laps apiece. We'll have 2 B mains, 10 laps apiece, taking the top 3 out of that. 22 cars going 40 laps here tonight. But first, we get ready for DirtDraft.com hot laps. And we encourage you, if you haven't headed over to DirtDraft.com and got your lineups in, do that immediately. You have until the heat races start. And we're going to crown a champion at the end of the year. Not only the Castrol FloRacing Night in America, but also at DirtDraft.com for the person that performs the best. So make sure to head over there, get your lineups in. As Hudson O'Neill in car number 71. Of course, Hudson's enjoyed success here at this hometown racetrack, the Martinsville, Indiana driver. He's currently 5th in the latest Castrol FloRacing Night in America point standings. 2 wins on the year for that competitor in the Lazy Day RVs. Double Down Motorsports number 71 as he rolls out of turn number 2. New dirt on this racetrack in the offseason. They've been working on getting it ironed out. New bleachers going in as well. Down in turn number 4, that's underway, and the fair board wanted to apologize. They hope to have those ready for this event, but a delay on some of the materials kept them from being ready. So they hope to have that ready in the coming weeks. Another driver on the speedway, his 3rd race night back after being off for a month with some issues due to a broken foot. Billy Moyer Jr. in the 21 Junior out of Batesville, Arkansas, the Clements powered Capital race car. Nutrient Ag Solutions, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Haas Horizontal, all sponsors on that 21 Junior as he rolls out of turn number 4. Good to have Billy back in the car. Foot still a little bit sore, but he's ready to race. We talked about Kent Robinson in the 7R, Jonathan Davenport in the 49 as the green flag is getting set to wave on DirtDraft.com hot laps. Again, these drivers will be broken into hot lap sessions. We talked about the 14R car of Mark Robbins out of Shoals, Indiana. The home's by Roth Bloomquist chassis. Kyle Larson in car number 6. 1 dirt late model win to his credit this year, and that came with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series at All Tech Raceway in the 2021 season opener back in January. As everybody getting up to speed, green flag is waving, and Dustin, we are officially underway with DirtDraft.com hot laps here tonight at Brownstown Speedway. As your water bottle has declared war on you. Be careful, buddy. Cars on the tiptoeing around this oval. Learned walking across this racetrack earlier. It might look a little bit dry, but she is awful slick. And just as I say that, Kyle Larson slips off the front straightaway in car number 6. No harm, no foul. He stays out of the front stretch wall. His first time ever to race at Brownstown, DJ.
Well, there's a good look at Kyle Larson right there. Kent Robinson right now, the quickest driver in this warm-up session, Ben, with a 1.654 as these guys get this track ran. Brownstown's one of these racetracks, Ben, where we see this a lot with this place. It kind of starts off a little slimy, a little greasy, for lack of better words. But man, kind of like we talked about in pre-race, this place just gets better as the night goes on. And don't look now, but Kyle Larson just laid the quickest lap in that first hot lap session.
Albeit it's about 4 seconds off the track record.
Just a tad.
Josh Richards setting a new track record here back in March, a 12.504 back on March 20th at the Indiana Icebreaker. So, hey, right now we're only, a little less than 4 seconds off track record speed. So they're getting that racetrack ironed in. And I tell you what, you got to like the 43. Cody Marcy out of Spiceland, Indiana. Last year's Rookie of the Year in the Super Late Model Division. First, he's out of Spiceland. They call him the Kodiak Kid. He's got all kinds of things going on for him. We'll keep an eye on the 43 car, and the only Rayburn in the field here tonight. So it looks like we're going to send the next wave of cars out to the Speedway, and it's going to be led the number 71 of Hudson O'Neill out of Martinsville, Indiana. Rocket XR1, Cornet Lightning, Double Down Motorsports, Lazy Day RVs, O'Neill Salvage and Recycling Cars 71. Behind him in the Best Performance Motorsports, Rocket XR1 with Clements Power. Third in the Castrol standings out of New Waverly, Texas, it's Turbo Tyler Erb, 4-time winner this year. And behind him in the B5, two-time defending champion of the World of Outlaws Morton Buildings Late Model Series, it's Brandon Shepard out of New Berlin, Illinois. The Valvoline, Dennis Woodworth, attorney at law, Pro Power Racing Engine, Rocket XR1. Behind him in car number 24, driver out of Bedford, Indiana, it's Jared Bailey, the Jason Durham Motorsports, Karen's Vineyard and Winery, Cornet Powered Longhorn, number 24. Bobby Pierce, the smooth operator out of Oakwood, Illinois, 3 wins on the year, currently 12th in the Castrol points. He'll be looking to make up ground here tonight. And in car 128, that'll be racing Jason Jamison out of Lawrenceburg, Indiana, and the MGL Auto Cells Rocket XR1, car 128. As we get set to see the green flag wave once again on Dirt Draft Hot Laps. Dustin, have you got your Dirt Draft lineup in yet?
Oh, no, I don't. I need to.
Come on, man.
I know.
Come on, man.
I am slacking. Do you have your Dirt Draft lineup in?
You know
That's
what?
A no.
For about the 10th straight race night, I do not. I got busy.
That is a no. I think you and I both ran around like a couple chickens on fire before the show. And hey, what about Brandon Shepard in the B5 there? You and I mentioned it during the pre-race show, but the first time all year that he's had the family-owned entry out. He's been too busy with the Rocket Chassis house car. Of course, he comes into this event leading the World of Outlaws Morton Buildings Late Model Series point standings, takes a night off from the Rocket house car ride, hops behind the wheel of his own family B5 for the first time in 2021.
No, and he's fresh off a big win last week, a $12,500 win at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. We'll see what Sheppy can do. His first Castrol FloRacing Night in America event of the year. The 22 of Skylar Lewis. This will be his first event with us as well as he rolls out of turn number 4. The Brownstown, Indiana driver, the S&J Excavation and Concrete. Clements Powered Masters Belt number 22. As we get set to get him wound up. And Darrell Lanigan back with us. Lanigan, of course, in that Randy Thompson Racing entry. The car out of Mississippi. Of course, Lanigan out of Union, Kentucky. A Club 29 with Jay Dickens Power under the hood of that Mobile 1 entry. The 3-time World of Outlaws champion. Didn't have much luck at Florence last week. We'll see if he has better luck here tonight.
Yeah, he also took that car to Atomic Speedway last weekend as well and ran it down there. And had a top 10 run going and been a J-bar, and that forced him back into the infield for the night. But Darrell back behind the wheel of one of his own Club 29 race cars now. That KB Motorsports, Little Randy's Hunting Camp, Lanigan Construction sponsored Club 29.
That car was actually purchased for Bub McCool to drive for Randy Thompson. Of course, Bub and Randy had a lot of success together. And Bub's kind of put the racing on pause, focused on the business and his son's extracurricular activities. So hopefully we'll see Bub back out there. But in the meantime, it's Darrell Lanigan. We'll see racetrack starting to pick up. And just like that, Jared Bailey, Skylar Lewis to the top of the board as we're down into the 14-second bracket.
Track times picking up just as we expected and just as they always do here at Brownstown Speedway. Those of you watching at home getting a good look right there of Bobby Pierce nearly coming right into your living room. Tyler Erb and Brandon Shepard blazing around this quarter-mile Fairgrounds Oval. As they've got one thing that we have noticed, Ben, and I'm sure that we'll see it here on camera whenever the caution comes out for this hot lap session. They've got those Uke tires pushed out a pretty good ways on the track, at least early on to start off the night. We'll likely see those pushed in just a little bit as the night goes on, but right now there's a good look at one. Those Uke tires pushed pretty far out on the racetrack to help preserve the inside groove of the speedway, because we know the cushion's going to be there at the end of the night, and we're going to see a good inside groove here at the end of the night as well.
Well, getting it ironed in as 3-time defending World of Outlaws champion Brandon Shepard, fastest lap so far in DirtDraft.com. Hot laps 13.838. And Bobby Pierce, how about Pierce? He's had some big wins this year, the Illini 100 and then the Hawkeye 100. If it's got 100 on the end and it's a big payday, Pierce has had pretty good luck, a 3-time winner this year. As we're going to bring the first group back out now that the racetrack is ironed in a little bit. Number 1 driver in America right now, Jonathan Davenport, 12 wins on the year after a double-header win last week in the Bad Boy 98 with the Comp Cam Super Dirt Series at Batesville Motor Speedway. Behind him, Billy Moyer Jr., he's out of Batesville, Arkansas in the 21 Junior. And I'll tell you what, the guy behind him, Dustin, when you think of Brownstown, one of the drivers that definitely comes to mind, good old K-Rob.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Kent Robinson from Bloomington, Indiana. I talked to Kent a little bit earlier on and said, he said, we're just trying to get things figured out in this race car. Things have not gone as well for us in the few times we've been able to run this year, but K-Rob looking to get his feet under him in the 7R. Behind of him, Scott James. Well, Scott James had some success here at Brownstown Speedway back in his Battle of the Bluegrass days back in the mid-2000s or so. Scott is quietly off to a pretty good start here in 2021. Just behind of him, a surprise entrant here tonight out of Zanesville, Ohio. That's Anthony Kincaid in the 144. I talked to Anthony a little bit earlier on this evening. He's super excited to be here. And then, of course, Kyle Larson there in the Kevin Rumley number 6. And Larson, certainly one of those guys we're going to keep our eyes on here this evening as these guys now laying down the lap times, Ben, we expect to see him lay down.
And just like that, Kyle Larson to the top of the leaderboard, 13.595. Then it's Kent Robinson, Jonathan Davenport, Scott James, and Brandon Shepard. And now JD to the top, Superman Cape in the win, 13.445. As racetrack's picking up here tonight, Dustin. Again, track record 12.504. Don't know that we're going to get down there right now, though. How about it, Superman Jonathan Davenport, 13.445.
Well, these drivers going to make their way off the racetrack, Ben. Next group of drivers going to make their way out on the track, and they're going to be led out by the defending Brownstown track champion in the Winley Motorsports, Michael J's Auto Sales Edgewater Raceway. Sponsored Rocket XR1, the 17J is driven by Greg Johnson. Behind of him, picked up a Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series win at Florence Speedway just a couple weeks ago in the Synesis Environmental Maxwell Trucking-based racing fuel sponsored J. Dickens powered Rocket XR1. Out of Verona, Kentucky, the second-generation driver Josh Rice. Behind of him out of Bedford, Indiana, the Travis Kern-powered Rocket chassis. The 14B is driven by Britton Godsey in the Suddarth & Company Real Estate Hoosier Door, Scott's Barbershop, Cox Tire Service sponsored number 14. And behind the wheel of a Capital race car, once again, the Delco Equipment Sales, Rockets Convenience Plus, Tri-Rivers Enterprise sponsored Cornette-powered Capital, the 157. Out of Winfield, Tennessee's the Winfield Warrior, Mike Marlar.
And right behind him, one of the crate late model competitors here tonight. We got a couple up. It'll be Keegan Cox out of Franklin, Indiana. The Masters built Cox Tree Service, Canes Tree Service, number 23. Devin Moran behind him, currently second in the Castrol points. And the Ty Torg Motorsports, Tommy Pope Construction, Clements Powered Longhorn. 4-time winner this year, including a $22,000 payday with this series. And that came at Atomic Speedway a couple of weeks ago. Behind him out of Seymour, Tennessee, it's Ryan King, the PTSD Awareness Racing, Noble Knight Construction Services, Vic Hill Powered Warrior. The 9G of Larry Greer out of Bowling Green, Kentucky, got upside down in a big kind of way here back with the Lucas Oil Series in March. And he's back in that same Longhorn, Mears Racing Engine, Rush Truck Center, Larco Truck Repair Cart, 9G. Fastest lap so far, Jonathan Davenport, 13.445, and DirtDraft.com hot laps.
A little bit of smoke coming out from underneath Britton Godsey's 14G as you see him right there on your screen. Mike Marlar trying to roll underneath of him, Britton Godsey. And that 14G, Jonathan Davenport, still the quickest driver in warm-ups. Josh Rice laying down a good lap in this group with a 1:3.777. Devin Moran slowed that time by at the stripe. May have just been giving himself a little bit of distance between the nose of his car and the tail end of Keegan Cox's number 23. Josh Rice now going to the top of the leaderboard, Ben, with a 1:3.401 here in hot laps.
How about that? Josh Rice, of course, picked up the Ralph Latham Memorial win. First career Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series win a few weeks ago, Florence Speedway. And race fans, Josh Rice, now the fastest time we've seen so far, 13.401 for the J. Dickens powered Rocket XR1 out of Verona, Kentucky. 4 wins on the year. 3 of those have come at Florence Speedway, which has been very good to the Kentucky drivers so far this year. Next set of cars make their way out, and it will be the number 1G car. That driver coming to us out of Columbus, Indiana, it's Devin Gilpin, the Clarkson Logging, Insultech, Safety Environmental Solutions, Clements Powered Rocket XR1. The 418 of Michael Wesselman out of Greenwood, Indiana. The Cardinal Contracting Rocket Chassis Pro Power Racing Engine number 418. The number 13 car, that'll be David Webb. Webb coming to us out of Nicholasville, Kentucky. The RS Auto Body and Collision Pro Power Racing Engine Rocket XR1. And behind him, it's RTJ, the Arizona transplant, now residing in Adel, Iowa. It's Ricky Thornton Jr. 4 wins on the year for that driver. The SSI Motorsports Dyno 1 XL4 covering Car 20 RT. In the number 99B behind him out of Bear Lake, Pennsylvania, it's Rick Boom Briggs. And the Rocket XR1 Clemens powered Meridian Hardwood, CJ's Auto Transport, and Corey Rubber 99B. And in the 81E, former winner here at Brownstown Speedway, it's Tanner English in the Riggs Motorsports entry out of Benton, Kentucky. Sponsored by Best One Tire and Auto, Wiles Drive Chassis, and Riggs Drilling Solutions. A Clemens chassis with a rocket power plant under the hood. 5 wins on the year for that driver out of the Bluegrass State. Also in this set, the number 76 car, that'll be Shelby Miles, last year's Indiana Pro Late Model Series champion, the Rocket XR1, Jay Dickens powered, Rock Solid Masonry, Reed & Sons Construction entry. 9 wins last year for Shelby Miles in car 76. And Brayton Laster in cart number 13, that driver coming to us out of Greenwood, Indiana, as we are continuing here with Hot Laps here tonight. The DirtDraft.com Hot Laps back underway on a beautiful evening here at Brownstown Speedway.
On a Wednesday night. Don't forget, if you've not yet done so, get your DirtDraft.com fantasy lineups locked in. As Brayton Laster, something just broke in that car, and he just made a dead left-hand turn down into the infield. The Pepsi and Scott Sales and Service billboards got spared, fortunately, but that car, something broke on it because he just made a dead left-hand turn down into the infield, and I'm not sure if he's going to require the assistance of a push truck or he might need a wrecker. The steering wheel is coming off. Looks like something maybe terminal, or maybe that's what happened. Maybe the steering wheel did come off, and that's why he made that hard left-hand turn down into the infield.
They're a lot harder to turn without the steering wheel on there. You see him, he looks like he's broke. Looks like he's broke, going to need the assistance. Yep, broke front end on that race car. As Brayton Laster, he gets a get out of jail free card. That could have been a lot worse. Well, I tell you what, you look right now at the guys at the top of the leaderboard, couple of modified graduates.
Yeah.
Josh Rice and Ricky Thornton Jr. And how about old RTJ? Season started off real well, 1 in Arizona, 1 at Speed Weeks. But, man, he probably is one of the guys that was probably least thrilled on the dirt on Bristol because he had nothing but bad luck there. They damaged some race cars. He, since his crew chief has moved on to another team. That team is regrouped, though. They're ready for the second half of the season. But it seemed like things went really well until about a month ago, and now that team's kind of scrambling, trying to get things pointed back in the right direction.
Yeah, and he's had some good runs. I mean, let's not, we won't act like that Ricky Thornton Jr. has just been turning in lackluster runs. He's had several top 10 since then, but some things that maybe weren't planned for. You know, you'd mentioned Talon Center leaving that race team, and at one point there was a possibility that team was just going to close the doors for the rest of the season. But Ricky and Tyler and some of those guys there, they kind of got together, Todd and Vicky Burns and everyone, and they have gotten this thing, I think, back in a place now that's going to enable Ricky, at least for the time being, to stay on the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series Tour here for a while. Glad to have him with us here tonight. And Ricky Thornton Jr., I talked to him down there in the pits. He is planning on running with us at Marshalltown Speedway next Wednesday night for our Castrol FloRacing Night in America race also. Behind of him, Rick Boom Briggs in the 99B. And, of course, for the folks that have watched these throughout the course of the year, Ben, we are doing the Castrol Inside the Hauler tours. We go inside the haulers with some of these drivers. Well, the very first race, we took a hauler tour with Jonathan Davenport. Jonathan Davenport ended up winning. We then took a hauler tour with Devin Moran, and Devin Moran ended up winning. A little bit later on tonight, those folks watching at home are going to get the opportunity to go inside that guy's hauler, Boom Briggs. So we'll see if Boom has the same fortune here at the end of the night that Davenport and Moran have had in their first 2 races. They've got Brayton Laster's number 13 towed back into the infield. There's a good look at your flagman. Green flag is out, and this hot lap session is back underway. Josh Rice, still the quickest driver up to this point, with a 1:3.401. Of course, this is hot laps, does not mean a thing. Devin Gilpin in the 1G, multi-time Brownstown Speedway track champion, out behind the wheel of a Rocket XR1. There's Boom Briggs in the 99B. Gilpin right now the fastest driver in hot laps with a 1:3.215. Shelby Miles third quick. Ricky Thornton Jr. fourth quick. Boom Briggs now third quick with a 1:3.383 as the checkered flag will fly on this hot lap session. And Devin Gilpin now the fastest driver in warm-ups. As David Webb nearly slides off the track with a 1:3.215. Tanner English now second quick. Boom Briggs third, Josh Rice fourth, and Shelby Miles rounding out the top 5 right now in warm-ups. As that will conclude hot laps for the Castrol FloRacing Night in America late models. Those drivers going to make their way off the track. And the UMP Dirt Car Modifieds, 23 cars strong, they're about to make their way out on the track for their first hot lap session. An outstanding field of open wheel modifieds racing with us here tonight at the Brownstown Speedway.